Hey guys, open the what is I'm putting a title in Instagram. Somebody's got to teach me how to put that in prior. Is that even a thing? I don't know, but that's what I'm doing. Let me pin the post and then we'll go from there. Hey, it's Bill with Tanya Live. Hope you guys are doing well. I'm also going to attempt to share this out if it allows me. Say hello in the comments, guys. Let me know, what type of business do you own? How do you serve in the marketplace? How do people get to experience your gifts? So that's number one thing I'd love for you to do while you're watching. Number two, if this isn't your first time, so Instagram, I can say this to you all too, because I think I've broadcast maybe 3 times. So you may catch me, and this may not be the very first time that you're seeing me live. But if it's not your first time, put hashtag renew in the comments. You guys see in the title, it says, what is 3D success? I'm gonna go deep with this one, right? Y'all stay with me. So yeah, number two, if this isn't your first time, KOKO, is that doll? I see the O11, but does that stand for doll? Good evening, how are you, dear? If this is not your first time at the rodeo, put hashtag renew in the comments. And renew is because that's what we do around here. Scripture says that we are, our lives are transformed by the renewing of our mind. And so we're always renewing our mind over here. And speaking of our mind, abundance mindset is one of the things I teach, along with personal growth and business building. So I believe those are the perfect 3. When they are in alignment, our life, our business, all the things soar when those things are in place. And I hope I shared that to the right thing. I'm working these 2 devices when normally the app that I have kind of broadcast on all of the platforms. So we're talking about 3D success. So the activities we do in life make up the sum of the quality of our life. So like everything that we involve ourselves in, clubs, committees, our job, activities, friends, all of that, it makes up the fullness of our life. And I stand by the realization that we are in the matrix. No, I'm just joking. But I do believe that our beliefs and our truths are dictated by how we experience life, the things that we're seeing all around us all the time. And before I get into all of that, because we're going to go a little deep, hope you all can stay with me. I just felt led, I heard it in my heart, just to present at the highest version of myself, and it would register for everyone. So that's my intent for today. I am Tanya Wilson-Cherry. I am the growth strategist, business coach, business and life coach. And I help women in business to create businesses that fund their lifestyle and not run their lifestyle by going within, really identifying who they are as a brand, and what their values are, and building a business that's in alignment with that. And I am a stickler for this. Like, I completely believe in building your business from the inside out. And I say that because there's so many external things that we watch, we see, we look at all the time that are telling us how to live our lives. And I just kind of feel we've been bamboozled just a little bit. But I know to be true for myself and my clients, when they build their business from within and not from all the external things that are going on around them, they build businesses, not only businesses that they love, but they build businesses that really fund their life and not run their life. I just thought about, I did a master class the other night, and one of the things we talked about was looking at numbers, because so many people who consider themselves really busy, had the realization that although they were busy, it didn't really mean they were profiting, right? So when I say fund their lifestyle instead of running their lifestyle, I mean that it's really profitable, and they're not overwhelmed, they're not consumed. But in order to even get to that particular space, we go within. One of the things we have to know is that there's no cookie cutter way to do things. Now, success leaves clues. There are some tried and true things that you can do in your business that works. But at the end of the day, you want to say, does that work for me? One of the things I decided was I didn't want to do it hard anymore. Do you guys get what I'm saying? Like, I hear it all the time. Business is hard. And I think that there are challenges in business. But I think one of the reasons why growing a business feels so hard is because people aren't creating businesses that they love. They're looking outside of themselves to create what's a huge part of their destiny. And I'll use this for an example. So, probably maybe back in 2015, I acquired a coach to help me with a particular area in my business. And I was going to say it, but I don't know if it's going to connect. And I'm not sharing this story to highlight anybody in particular. I'm actually highlighting a situation that I think a lot of people find themselves in. And the information I got was amazing, right? It worked for me. It was the shift that I needed for my business at that particular time. And I'm a committer. So normally when I connect with someone, that thing is long term, especially if I'm, continuing to get value. But I noticed that the person that I was taught that one thing by, we didn't value some of the same things. I'm going somewhere. And when I realized that, I knew I needed to pivot, the word that everyone is using now. And I say that because who we're listening to and what we're listening to is going to have some, it's going to move some of the dynamics in how we're building our destiny. And what I see, because we're building from this external space, that many people are building businesses they don't love. They're doing stuff that is driving them out of wanting to even, go to their next level or even do it bigger because they feel that it's going to be hard. So I think it's was it Benjamin Franklin that said, maybe it wasn't him, but somebody said, if you think you can't, you won't, right? If you think you can, you will. And so I want us to be mindful as we're, moving forward in our journey and our destiny, that we're speaking the things that we actually desire. Because what I have found to be true is when I got really, really clear on how I wanted to do this thing, I began to attract the things that were in alignment with what I was saying I desired. And most people don't do that. I find two things most people struggle with is their identity and their personal economy and Instagram. You guys may go out. I'm going to put my Facebook business page in here just in case it goes out, because it looks like that battery is a little low. Facebook.com/BuildWithTanya. Okay, so if it does go out on you guys and you want to join me, you can catch me over on my Facebook business page. So I feel the two things we struggle with the most is our identity and our personal economy. And those are also the things that we're inundated with all the time. Like people telling us who we are. I mean, we see it all the time. We see all the examples of how we should look, how we should wear our hair, what's presentable, what's not, what's all the things. And as I'm talking about identity, I'm thinking about a time. So my daughter attended a private Christian school for probably half of her education. So she's 15 now in the 10th grade. So she went until the 6th grade. And when she first started going to the school, it was very diverse. But as the years continued to move forward, there were less people there that looked like her. And so every year, her teachers would share with me that she proposed the question to them, why am I the only brown girl in class? Now, I had not had a conversation with her about race or any of that stuff. I just didn't think it was necessary, especially so early. But there were different events that transpired where I had to like really talk to her about who she was. And what I personally did was I used how God saw her as a space for her to gain her identity. Listen, if you're a mama and you're unsure about what to do when you share with the children how God sees them, that means that irregardless of what environment they're in, regardless of the culture or the race or the social status or the amount of revenue that anyone has, they can go back to that foundational thing about, who they really are. And it's not determined by all these outside things that we're seeing. And so when I speak about 3D success, I speak about success from a full circle perspective, meaning not just, I think one of the hardest things is to have one area of your life be doing amazing. I know, that was me. And then, the other area is just so unbalanced. So I was married for 14 years in a dysfunctional marriage. I've been divorced for about 3 years, but my business was doing well. And so on the outside, everything looked successful, right? But I was a private mess, had a private mess going on, and I wasn't in alignment. And I just believe, irregardless of what that area is, even if your relationships are doing amazing, but your personal economy is off, it all impacts everything. And we have all these ideologies from others who are talking to us about, how it should be, what it needs to be, all of the things. So as I continue to grow my consulting business, so I started as a business coach. I owned a brick and mortar business for 10 years prior to coaching and consulting. I had a team of 12 employees, full on staff, the whole nine. And I started my consulting business before I closed my brick and mortar. And so my time online, when I began to transition, because that was a local, business, we did some things online, but the majority of our business was, brick and mortar. It was offline. So as I began to bring my business online as a business coach and have women come to work with me for their business, I realized that no matter how many strategies I gave them or systems, sometimes it just did not click. They still, wouldn't implement, or I just realized that it was more, there were other areas that they could reflect on. So that is when, and it's probably been going on 5 years now, when I became a certified life coach, because I believe that our personal life rolls into our business. No matter how we want to twist it or flip it, it just does. And so when I think about 3D success, I think about success having harmony, because, nobody's perfect. We're not looking for perfection. When we've reached that, we're, meeting the maker. But there is a space of harmony that we can have as we're building our business and our lives. And so it was important to me that I offer opportunities for, as people are growing their business, that they can grow personally at the same time. And one of the soundboards for that is thinking, our mindset, what it is that we're thinking. So 3D success for me involves our destiny. That's the destination that we're headed to, where we're going. It includes, our purpose. It's part of where we are really learning who we are, so that we can, really build a business that we love. So, we can do blog posts, we can do Snapchat, we can do TikTok, we can do Facebook, we can do YouTube, we can do Instagram, Periscope, which is, dwindling. Hey, Periscope. But all of that is not in alignment with who you are, right? But because you're building what you're building from such an external space, and you haven't taken the time to really get clear about who you are, and then really operate in your zones of genius, it does feel like business is hard. It does feel like everything is overwhelming. And so what I do is I help people get really clear about who they are as a brand, and their values, right? And then build everything, their life and their business, from that space. So 3D success is your destiny, your dollars, and I mean, people have varied opinions about, people who are high income earners or wealthy people. And I mean, hey, one of the things I understand is that we all have perspectives and we all have opinions, and they may vary. But for as much as we may not admit it, if you don't have money, it's one of the things you think about all the time. Right? So, although there may be the stigma about people who are high income earners, at the same time, when that money isn't available, I don't know how many of you have ever struggled, but that's something that you think about a lot. So it's important, right? Scripture says that money answers all things. I haven't gotten full revelation on that, but I can think of a lot of things that it does answer. And so having our personal economy in alignment, and this is what I mean by alignment. So maybe my desires are for millions. Maybe yours are for 6 figures or 50,000, whatever, right? But whatever the desires you're having are, they should be in alignment with how you really desire to build your life. Because it is going to require money. We're talking about money now, as it relates to money. And because we have all of these varied opinions and all the things, many people can't get clear and settle on what they really want, right? So when I think about procrastination, overwhelm, and confusion, I understand that there is uncertainty about what you really desire. And in order to get clear about that, one, you have to believe that those desires that are placed on the inside of you are possible. So many of us, reaching that point of 3D success is unlearning some of the things that we believed before. I made a post earlier today and I said, do you believe that the reason why you haven't gotten to next is because of what you don't believe? Do you believe that what you don't believe is the reason you haven't gotten to next? Because there were things that I'm experiencing financially, as far as my time freedom and how I'm building the business, that I didn't believe before. I mean, I hadn't really thought about it, but it wasn't a belief of mine. It wasn't a truth of mine. So when we're thinking about many of you have things on the inside of your heart and you're worried about the how. So you won't settle and say, this is what I desire, because it's bigger than where you are. It seems, too big, too enormous, impossible. So you won't settle on that. And so there will always be overwhelm and confusion and procrastination because you're not really in alignment with what you desire. Now, you may have a picture of what someone else is doing, and then that becomes something that you're like, yes, that's what I want. But most people haven't really settled on what they really, really desire. Now, I'm huge on manifesting, right? So as a believer, I believe that God gives us the ability to co-create with him. And most of our co-creation is found in what we believe, what we say, and what we're thinking, right? And so it's difficult to obtain something that you don't believe. And we're aligning our belief with what we think is possible based on what we already have. That's not how it works, because we don't need faith for what we already have. And see, faith is hoping for what is not already there, but knowing it, right? There's a knowing that has to come with, what it is that you desire. So that destiny, so I find, and, I'm only aware of these things because I've done my work, right? I've stepped into new levels of awareness about how I previously lived life and how I previously thought and what I was experiencing and how I'm experiencing life and business in this particular phase of my life. And all of it was my belief, right? And so my belief was determining my destiny. So remember, 3D is your destiny, your dollars, and your disciplines. Now, I'm in this space where I also recognize that I use a lot of masculine energy before. And what I mean by that is, so when we think about masculine and feminine energy, it's, because it doesn't matter who's using it, male or female, they're just two different energies. But when we think about masculine energy, is I gotta hustle, I gotta grind, all of the things. And to me, that's coming from a space of scarcity and lack of trust. I love the word trust. God gave me that word at the end of last year for this year. And I'm getting new revelation all the time on trust. And I'm needing that new revelation because the desires he's placed in my heart for my destiny are so big. They're so much bigger than, where I am now. So before I was trading time for dollars, I didn't even know that I had something that people would pay $6,000 for. But when I aligned with it, when I aligned fully with it, when I believed that it was possible, I didn't know the how, right? I just stepped into the belief. Y'all don't hear me. So a lot of your destiny is attached to what you believe, and what you desire. And you have to get clear on that. So what you desire is probably the first thing, what you want, that you need to get clear on. And then you have to continue to work on your belief that puts you in alignment with that. Worrying about the how is not how you create 3D success. So then we have your dollars, getting to the point where you're in alignment. So, I mean, if we're desiring $1 million home, right? If that is our desire, what type of work or service or value do you have to offer in order to be able to afford that or manifest it, whichever way you want to do it? I won't go too far into either one now, but I do believe that, God has given us the ability to manifest. That's a whole nother subject. You really have to be at another level of belief, because those things don't always happen because of blood, sweat, and tears, right? So some things just occur, and you're manifesting right now, whether you know it or not. All of you, we've all been manifesting. May not have been what we want to manifest, but we've been manifesting because of our thoughts and our beliefs, all the things. So I did a video called I Am, and for those of you on Instagram, I don't know if it's in my IG's TV, but I do know that video is on Facebook, and when we finish, you guys can go back and watch that. So we say our destiny, our dollars, and our disciplines, and I was talking about masculine and feminine energy as it relates to disciplines, and sharing with you guys how I realized that some of the hustle, go hard, vibe that I had was because of some of the negative experiences that I had that were creating a measure of fear or uncertainty for me. But there's another space where we're really operating in a level of trust that's outside of what we've been doing before. Because most of us say we trust God, but whenever he puts us something before us, an opportunity, a chance to do things differently, we fall back, right? See, faith is an action word, trust is an action word. But so as we move into disciplines, it's simply, what habits do you need? What type of alignment do you need to be in? What type of energy do you need to be in? What type of mindset do you need to have? And so discipline may be that you're consistently working on your mind, that you're disciplined enough to every day change what you're saying and speaking, to be in a level of awareness in that on a daily basis, right? But sometimes when we hear discipline, we're thinking, I don't want to do it if it's all this restrictive stuff. But a lot of the disciplines are in our thoughts. So 3D success is when we are experiencing harmony as a full circle event in every area of our life. And we are aware when those things are out of alignment, and we know the practices and the tools in order to shift them back in alignment. That's what 3D success is. And most of us have, I mean, I watch sometimes where, people may go and get a lot of degrees and still feel the same way they felt before. Well, they feel okay because of maybe the titles. But like when we go home and ain't nobody there and we're thinking, whatever, they still feel the same, right? Because they place the value in the degree and not how it will put them in alignment with the destiny that they really desire. So, sometimes when people hit a stump in life, they say, I'm going back to school, like a college or, to get another degree. But if you haven't decided what it is that you really want, if you haven't decided what that looks like, if you haven't detailed the home you want to live in and how you want to serve and all of those things, no matter how much education you get or classes you take or whatever, it will all feel the same in the end because it's not aligned with the destiny that you desire. So you'll feel like you're right back at square one. So destiny, dollars, and discipline, that's 3D success when those areas are in harmony. And I want to leave you guys with one more thing. So how many of you have Clubhouse? Put me in the comments if you're on Clubhouse. So Clubhouse is new, relatively new to me. I think I've been on it, I think I'm right at 2 months. And maybe in this last month, I've been more active, speaking on stages, things of that nature. But at first, I'm just kind of behind the scenes, listening, watching, and I learned, which was so huge to me, because when you're designing your destiny, right, when you're working on that, one of those 3D principles, it's important that you're in alignment with that destiny that you created. So I know that the rooms that I enter in on Clubhouse are in alignment with what's going to continue moving me forward, or something that I believe in, or I need to hear, or I'd like to hear another opinion on, right? So I choose, and that's what I love about Clubhouse, because stuff is not just popping up down your timeline unless you've connected with someone or a specific subject that you said you were interested in. So I love it because I can design how I want to do that, and it's in alignment with the destiny that I'm on, right? So my destiny is not in default mode anymore, where I'm just inundated by all the stuff that's going on outside of us. I feel that, we've been inundated so much that, we aren't even using critical thinking anymore, right? Like, and what I mean by that is, when identity is misconstrued, we are quick to jump on the bandwagon of, because the majority of people are doing it. I've seen so much of that during, especially last year, right? Where people felt compelled to be a part of something or they wouldn't be accepted. And this leads into the last story that I wanted to share with you pertaining to Clubhouse. So I was listening in a room and there was a young lady who was speaking, and she is part owner of a really, really big brand. I'm not even going to mention the name, but it's a big brand. And she was sharing her frustration about, people who didn't have nearly as many followers, who were, maybe selling courses or, products, services, or whatever, and people were spending their money with them. And to long story short, she felt that, those people weren't qualified. The people who, weren't making as much as she was and didn't have as many followers. That's what I heard. And a couple people heard that too, or interpreted that. I knew what she was trying to say, but although she didn't fully say those words, that's what came across. And a gentleman spoke and said, he really didn't care how many followers he had or what income status he may have been in. It didn't change who he knew he was. And that blessed me, right? Because that's identity. And when, especially in, the digital world and digital space that we're in now, there are people with amazing ideas and dreams and goals who won't pursue them because someone said they didn't qualify. And so these are the questions that were going through my head. I said, when do people get to qualify one another? Listen, and where I'm at, the space that I'm at now, is really causing me to even reflect back on my own thinking and unlearn some things, right? Because it's so easy to get caught up in what the world deems valuable. And this gentleman at the same time said he knew tons of people who was making cool money who didn't even have social media or only had a few, 1,000 followers or whatever, few thousand on social media, who were doing extremely well, who were actually the people who were coaching the people who had all the tons of followers. And sometimes it goes in reverse, where someone may have a whole lot of followers, but may not necessarily be able to provide results. And so I think it's just so important that we're not getting our identity outside of us, right? That we're going on the inside. And this is what I help my clients to do: build businesses from the inside. You're more peaceful, you're more happy. Listen, your focus is completely different. Your timeline looks different. What you spend your time on is different. Your time freedom increases because you'll understand that those things don't align with what you really, really desire. Those things don't align with who you are, the brand that you're really wanting to build, and your particular values. And all of us have different values and brands that we're trying to build. It doesn't have to be cookie cutter, right? You don't have to get your identity from outside of you. That's basically, what I'm saying. So 3D success is our destiny when we become aware of what that is, right? Where is it that we want to go? Who are we, right? And really clear on, now that we understand who we are and where we want to go, how will we build our brand accordingly? How do we align that with the things that we value? So time freedom is huge to me. So it impacts all my decisions. It impacts my yeses and my nos, the things that I say I'll do and I won't do. It just impacts all of that because I am super aware that I am aligned, I'm fully focused, and I'm fulfilled when I've honored my top 5 values, one of them being time freedom, the other financial freedom, family, God, education, growth. Those are my values. And so when I honor those things, I am in alignment. So I invite you, for those of you who you want to go on the inside and build your business, you don't want to do it externally. You may have things that you're inspired by, but you want to create your own thing, and you want it to be in alignment with where it is that you desire to go. I am the founder of 3D Success Academy for Women in Business, and we are open for enrollment. And so I welcome you the opportunity to come build your brand from the inside out, step into a new income level, right? So we have one of the segments is called the Prosperity Portal. It's huge. I mean, of course, we talk about practical things as it relates to money, but we really get huge mindset shifts. I have a client who came to me recently, and when we were initially talking about the strategy we would be creating, she shared that she wanted to increase her income to $15K a month consistently. So of course we worked that strategy out, what that looked like, how often she wanted to be working in order to make it happen. We worked out all of those things, but we also worked on her mind because it requires a new mind to move from 7K a month or 10K a month to 15 or 20, right? So I invite you to join us. I'm going to I think I can put it on Instagram. I got to type everything over there. Don't be lazy, Jan. So for those of you looking to join us, that is a link in the comments. And so let me tell a little about how it works. So it's a year-long program, and you are released trainers weekly, 10 months out of that 12-month time frame. We have 2 months that are productive rest months. During those months, you can catch up on things that you may need to go back and look at, or get deeper understanding on, or you can access our Mind Your Business resource portal. It's full of mindset and all of the things, right? You do those things during those productive rest months. I think it's important that we have months where we're not dedicating our time to the exact same thing. So I incorporate that in my teaching and training for those that I work with. And then twice a month, we coach live together. So if you have questions about the training that was released, how to implement it, how that aligns with you and your business, we coach on that twice a month. There are opportunities you can pay a one-time fee, two-time fee, three-time fee, and all of those are considered VIP opportunities. And there are huge savings with those opportunities as well. And then there's a monthly opportunity. And with the monthly opportunity, if you find that you've gotten all the value you can get, which I don't know how you're going to do that without going through the whole thing, but if you do, after a commitment of 3 months, you can say, I no longer, am able to be inside. So if you do choose the monthly option as your investment, that is definitely available. But we work on your destiny, right? We work on your dollars. And then we look at what disciplines do I need in order to hit these income goals that I desire, in order to get this new measure of time freedom that I want in my life and my business. There are trainings on time management, leadership, branding, marketing, social media marketing, blogging, all the things, right? Now, it doesn't mean you do all of those things, but they're there once you figure out what your vibe is and what your flow is. The strategies are there. We create partnerships for you. It's good, right? We go through business systems where we go over trademarks, copyrights, LLCs. Now, I am not an attorney or any of those things. I explain it, and then I have expert trainings from experts for you to access on those things. So, I teach those things through experience, but there are experts whose trainings are available for you to watch and get detail on as it relates to those things. So we do it full circle, right? We do it 3D. And my goal is for more women to create businesses that they love, and businesses that fund their lifestyle. I mean, like tremendously fund their lifestyle. I believe women, a lot of money in the hands of women changes the world because we're nurturers. We give on another level. Just my experience, my belief that when women are well and wealthy, the world changes. And so I'm doing my part by supporting women in creating something that's really in alignment with them, that flows, that helps them to build what they really love, right? And normally I get people who have heart-centered businesses, so they're doing it for a specific reason. And that's always awesome because when we're going over brand clarity, they identify their brand story that helps them to attract their perfect people so that they're attracting people and not chasing them. So that's my take. 3D success is your destiny, your dollars, and your discipline. When there's harmony in those areas. And listen, guys, we never outgrow our business. Our business never outgrows us personally. And if our business outgrows us personally, it always comes back to get us, right? It always comes back down to the level that we are at. So I provided an opportunity for women to get clear, simplify, and really focus on what it is that they truly desire, all while they're making more money. So that's my take, guys. I hope you got value out of this. And the link, let me put it in. Instagram stayed on with us. I thought the battery would go out. Let's see. I'm typing real slow. But this is the link for you guys on Instagram, renewfullcircle.com/3DA. 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 Go within, guys. Go within first, right? I'm not saying not to get things from outside of you, right? Those things are important, the relationships, the ideas, the inspiration, the empowerment. But when you go within first, you gravitate towards the right things, right? That are aligned with who you are, your purpose, what's destined for you, right? It helps you to cultivate your zones of genius, your superpowers, not someone else's idea, right? Because the world has a whole lot of ideas about how we should do this thing, a whole lot. Right? Remember, I said we're in the matrix, right? Red pill, blue pill. And I'm joking about that, but I do believe that most of us, no, most won't ever reach what they're really supposed to reach because of the beliefs they've adapted from outside of them, right? So I believe we serve a big God and He puts big desires on the inside of our heart. And when we go within and then we do it with faith and we trust, we begin to align with that. And our world, our life changes. The way we see everything changes. That's my take. RenewFullCircle.com/3DA. I'm the founder of 3D Success Academy for women in business. And I love the opportunity to support you in your next level of growth. I'll see you guys next week, 9 o'clock, same time. Bill with Tanya Live. Let's see. Bye-bye, guys.